Betty, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone! I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
No one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Hubba.
Hello and welcome to Zedos Gang, episode number, I'm still without a clue. I'm not going to lie.
111, 112, something like that?
No, you know what? I think it is like, 110, 111. Yeah, around that kind of ballpark. Because like, I spoke to Joe.
On top of this.
Yeah, we do. You know what? Joe told me exactly what it was about 4 days ago. But that was 4 days ago. A lot has happened since then. So... So yeah, as you can tell, without my usual partner in crime, I'm a bit left without a paddle. So, you know, but it's okay. I'm joined by you lovely people. And today we have, as always now, it looks like it's a regular thing, Kenan Akbulut.
Howdy people.
From Ken Talks, no, not Ken Talks Film, from Creative Control. Usually I have the little bubble in the background. It reminds me. But,
yes.
You know, we're beginning to find out how scatterbrainy I can actually be.
Yeah, in my new office today, podcast in my first new office.
Hey, we're joined again by Karolina.
Yeah, hello.
And introducing Andrés. It's his first time on the main podcast. I think you guys might have seen him on the Creative Control podcast. How's it going, Andrés?
Really well. Yeah, it's been a busy day, and then I got your message, and I thought, yeah, why not end the day with a podcast? It's been a while, so thank you for having me.
No problem. Anytime, man. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just going to start this on a little bit of a down note. Obviously, a few days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, the news broke that Chadwick Boesman had died from his battle with cancer. That was a real left field shock, to be honest. Well, to me and quite a lot of Marvel fans and a lot of people around the world, because he died so young, man. And just that, you know, literally as he was just starting his Hollywood career. I mean, like, I know he's been in these Marvel films for probably the past 4 years, but, you know, I took notice of him a few years prior in the movie 42 because I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan. Harrison Ford was in this new film about Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, and it was literally about Jackie Robinson dealing with racism and becoming like a sorry, I keep saying basketball, but a baseball star and stuff. And really, really solid performance, very, very somber performance as well, you know. And then the next film I saw him in was Get On Up, where he played James Brown, which is like literally the opposite end of the spectrum. And, you know, I saw him in two very, very big, what would be Oscar-winning films. And I was, you know, because they both came out around Oscar time, and I was just like, who is this guy, man? I'm seeing him in good shit. And then the minute they announced him as Black Panther, I was like, I know this guy. No one else did. They were like, because no one's seen 42 or Get On Up. And I was like, no, he's the guy. He's the guy, because this guy can act. He did two very, very different roles, you know, in those two films I just mentioned. And he was our Black Panther. And it looks like, you know, when he started doing his like movies and stuff, like actual films and stuff, he was very picky on the roles that he picked, and he looked like he liked to be a very good role model. And, you know, I think Black Panther really, really did open the doors to his audience on such a grander scale. He's so beloved in that role. And yeah, it's just a big shock.
Yeah, I mean, he kept it, you know, his circle of friends and family, very loyal, very tight knit, because no one knew about this. No one at Marvel knew about it. Kevin Feige didn't know about it. You know, I read online, Kevin said that he got an email to contact him urgently about Chadwick, and basically within the hour of that email before he contacted him, he passed away. So it was a very, very quick turnaround time in terms of the deterioration and stuff like that. So, but yeah, you know, nobody really knew about it. The director, Black Panther directors, all his cast, colleagues, you know, nobody really knew about it. So yeah, and the fact that he has been working, he was working the last 4 years, and you know, doing some, you know, some great movies, key roles, and like you said, the impact that Black Panther had, sort of like on the Black community, for them seeing a superhero that looks like them on screen in that kind of capacity and that kind of importance, was amazing. And he did some stuff with. You know, we'd meet the fans and stuff like that, or they'd be like leaving him a message, he'd pop out and surprise them and stuff like that. And, you know, just the emotion that they showed. And, you know, and then recently, you know, he did some stuff with kids who were suffering from cancer at hospital. So there was stuff there that he was doing that we just, you know, we just thought that, you know, he was a great guy, but what it meant to him in terms of, you know, and then you see interviews now and they were talking about his character, his future for Black Panther 2, and he was very non-committal to it. And it's kind of in two parts, because he might have been doing that very much to protect Infinity War and Endgame, but then he was probably not quite sure where he was going to be. But apparently he had the confidence that he was going to beat this thing. Yeah. I had there was something else I read about one of the actors who was on, was it Five Blood? The Blood?
The Five Bloods.
Five Bloods on Netflix. And he said, you know, he thought he was quite pretentious, a little bit precious on set, because, you know, he had somebody there massaging him, someone looking after his feet, this and the other. And he realizes now that they were there taking care of him. You know, they were trying to help him through. And, you know, he says he feels like shit now because he just didn't know. And he's like prejudged the person, thinking that the fame had got to him. But yeah, it just shows, you know, how humble he was, how hardworking he was. You know, I cried. It's not very often that, you know, I don't think really I cry for celebrities, but I did for him. It was just really, really sad. Cancer's close to, I think, a lot of people. You know, and my friend Jason, he was given, you know, weeks, months to live at one point, and he battled through it. So I know what it can do to a person, and he's still fighting. So yeah, it's a horrible disease. It's really, really tragic. And yeah, for all the fans, family, friends out there, just a feel and, you know, condolences and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, waking up to that news, and it literally was waking up to it. You know, I woke up, I think it was you guys who sent me messages on the WhatsApp group.
Dasha said it first, I think about 7 or something, yeah.
So waking up to that news was shocking, devastating. And then once my son, who I've been watching Marvel movies with since he was really young, when he woke up, and my wife said, you watch, as soon as he wakes up, he's going to run downstairs. Literally, he woke up about an hour or so after me. Dad, run down. You know, he was a real life superhero. He really was. And he was definitely had Oscar potential. He was the type of guy that was picky about his roles. You know, maybe because of his illness, he wanted to leave a legacy behind. The things I've heard from his you know, from like Michael B. Jordan, the things that people have written about him, and the fact that he just plowed through. He didn't want to make it about that. And what he's done for, you know, inclusion, well, he changed the game. Like the legacy he's left is unbelievable, and it's very sad. It was very sad.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just like you guys, I was absolutely heartbroken when I found out, and I'm kind of glad that I'm in this, you know, shithole in the middle of the forest, and I don't get bombarded by a lot of media and a lot of stuff that is going on right now, because I think it would only make me feel much worse about it. Because I think that for me, it's about the fact that I just couldn't imagine, because I love Black Panther. I love that film. I thought that it was one of the best Marvel superhero films, and what it did for the culture and worldwide, I think, you know, because I think I've read this in Forbes or something, that, you know, white audiences suddenly didn't mind watching a Black superhero, and this was one of the highest grossing films with a single superhero Marvel universe. So I just thought that knowing what it did in general, and knowing that we could finally have something, you know, good there, and having that, I can't even speak about it, because for me this is just so I don't like grieving publicly, and this entire situation when you have so many people writing about him and writing about his last days, and you know, about the fact that what is going to happen now with the Black Panther and Black Panther 2, that, you know, they're going to have to recast, and who is going to be, what they're going to do, you know, all these speculations, all this stuff. For me, it's just way too soon. And I know that we kind of have to comment on this, because it's I think for the Black community and for all of the people who are not racist on this planet, you know, this was something that was going to change Hollywood, in a sense that it would become far more inclusive. And in my opinion, and it had that potential to become one of the most legendary, you know, superhero franchises. And I just thought, I don't know what now. I'm just heartbroken. I can't put my shit together still. Drinking.
Yeah, drinking helps. But you know what? He did that regardless of the fact that he isn't here. I think the success of Black Panther changed everything. And maybe if it wasn't for that film, then we wouldn't be getting things like Shang-Chi or female-led. I think he accomplished the mission of, whether he's here or not,
yeah,
making Hollywood realize that inclusivity.
Yeah,
you know,
but
works.
I kind of, you know, have that sense of it ended too soon. It's just, I don't know how to talk about it, to be honest with you. For me, it's huge. And I hope that, obviously, I hope that the Black Panther will survive, if you know what I mean. But it just, I don't know how to get back to the cinema to watch the Black Panther 2. I really don't at this point in time. I just think that, for me, it's just very sentimental. I'm behaving like a crazy person now, aren't I?
No, you're fine. He will return later on this year in the movie Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what that's about, but, you know, he's got another film still yet to come out.
Yeah.
There was pre-production on another film that he was yet to film called Yasuki, which was literally about a black samurai.
Wow.
So it's like a martial arts kind of thing.
Oh,
And
that sounds
cool.
it
Sounds cool. It might, because it's in pre-production, it looks like they're gonna have to recast that. You know what? He was perfect choice for Black Panther, because for me, with most superhero films, I prefer it when they don't have a huge name. I much prefer it when it's like an up-and-coming person that's been in stuff, and or if they've been in stuff, they've been in indies that have shown that they can hold a role or hold a, you know what I mean, like a movie by themselves or whatever, but just up and coming. And that's exactly who he was. He was someone that had been in 2 very, very good, solid films with 2 very, very good, solid performances under his belt. And, you know, when they said he was Black Panther, if you look at the casting list on what they said and who he was up against, he was up against some A-listers and stuff. You know, Michael B. Jordan had already done like quite a lot of films by that point, and he'd already done Creed. So, you know what I mean? We all knew that he was probably a front runner, and I could imagine Ryan Coogler was definitely thinking him for the role originally, because they're so tight with Fruitvale Station and Creed and stuff. But obviously Marvel picked him.
They picked him before.
And, you know, good casting by Feige. You know what I mean? It's
amazing.
But yeah, real shame, real loss of talent there, and gone too soon, because quite literally he's gone just as his movie star career had just skyrocketed, and I think that's a real shame. But yeah, life goes on. Wakanda forever, you know.
Yes, exactly, and definitely his legacy will remain. And whatever they decide to do with Black Panther going forward, as long as they honor that, that's the important thing. Whether I think the word recast is the wrong word in this situation, because it's not like they got rid of him.
No, it's all a bit too soon, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the word is, if they do continue to carry on with the character of T'Challa, is who succeeds him. Or, you know, the other option is that the mantle of Black Panther goes to someone else.
Yeah.
You know, for example, Shuri or some other character.
Moving on to the next project. Sorry, that sounded a bit, a bit bad.
It's hard to transition.
So. Yeah, it's a tough transition.
Yeah.
Moving on to No Time to Die, the latest trailer for the latest Daniel Craig's final, I don't believe it's final, James Bond. He said that last time in the time before. You've got to work with me here. I understand he doesn't want to be Bond, but money talks, and Barbara Broccoli, the fucking keeper of the James Bond franchise, she ain't done with Craig. She's even said that, multiple times. She goes, he thinks it's his last one, not by her book. She thinks she can bring it back, but that's another subject for another time.
Yeah.
The trailer, I've seen it once, I've only seen it once. Normally this kind of trailer I watched a couple of times, but damn, I was impressed. I was fucking blown away. For me, I love action movies, but I get picky with them. There's a lot of them that are just white noise these days. I like old school stunts. I like looking at something and going, wow, that looks kind of practical. And there was a moment in this trailer where it was like, nah, that weren't CG. That was fucking real. That looks sick. Actually, there were 2 moments in it. And I was just like, oh my God, I need to see this film now. But unfortunately, I can't, because I'm stuck in this house and I won't be going to the cinema to see this. So, oh man, this could be my first Bond film that I don't get to see in the theater since GoldenEye. What the hell?
I mean, the trailer blew me away as well. I was really impressed. I wasn't the biggest fan of Skyfall. I've said it a lot of times.
Boo.
Didn't enjoy it. Didn't feel like a Bond film to me. Again, you take the character out of the movie, nothing changes. He has no impact on any characters throughout that movie. So
Spectre?
What's that?
Spectre? Did you?
Spectre I enjoyed, but I think I've only watched it the once. You know, it's just one that I haven't revisited. So it's definitely something I have to revisit before this one. But yeah, this trailer blew me away. It felt more like Bond. You know, it felt more like an espionage, felt more like a thriller and a spy thriller. I like the blend of characters they've got in it, you know, with the new 00 and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. Some great set pieces, like you said, Sasha, you know, in the action sequences. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad they've held it back to be able to see it on the cinema, because yeah, this is what I got to see in the cinema. So yeah, I'm very hyped for this. And like you said, who knows if it's going to be, I mean, when he doing interviews for the press for the last one, he said, I'd rather slit my wrist than do it.
yeah.
Here he is back again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like you said,
so who knows?
He looks, yeah, this looks like it could be his best one yet.
Well, it turned out the last movie, he actually had a huge falling out with the director, Sam Mendes, who they've had a long relationship, you know, like they've worked on like 3 films together, you know, because he brought Sam Mendes into the Bond franchise. So I don't know what that bust up was about, but, you know, it's a shame that, you know, that happened. But I know you didn't like Skyfall, but I think Sam Mendes did an excellent job with James Bond. But that's personal preference, I guess.
I loved Skyfall.
Yeah, same here.
I was disappointed with Spectre.
Oh, okay. See, I liked them both, but, you know, I didn't like Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace. I'm sorry.
You didn't like Casino Royale?
Like Casino Royale?
I've said this multiple times on this podcast.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah.
Let me defend myself there. Okay. Okay. So I've read the James Bond books, the actual, you know, original books by Ian Fleming, and my problem with the movie was the pacing of the movie. Completely the pacing of the movie, because it starts off with you know, it's action, action, action. And you don't really get to the novel or what the plot is until about an hour into the movie. Then you get a perfect adaptation of the book, you know, which is really good, and that's cool. And then the next 20 minutes is action and explosion. And there's just, I just really felt though that the first hour, I wasn't connected to anything. You know what I mean? I didn't care for the action. It was just happening because, and I was bored, you know, and I've seen it like 5 times, you know, and I've always felt the same every time. And I think universally Quantum of Solace was just bullshit. So, you know, or, you know, my opinion it was, I just felt Michael Bay came on and directed that one. I know it wasn't, but it felt like a Michael Bay film. And then Skyfall for me just felt like, this is Bond, you know what I mean? And I guess when Daniel Craig was cast as Bond, because I didn't enjoy the first 2 films, I didn't really see him as Bond. But when Skyfall came, I think I'd gotten used to him as Bond by then. And because for me, it felt like a Bond film, I was like, yeah, I'm on board. Yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, this was the shit, man.
He didn't do anything in the movie.
Yeah, but you know what?
He captured the bad guy who wanted to be captured.
The same thing could be said for the Ark and the Covenant.
He did nothing.
Okay, I understand the argument, but the same thing can be said with the Ark and the Covenant in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And guess what? My opinion, that's the greatest movie ever made. So, boom. Karolina, what were your thoughts on the trailer?
Well, I loved the trailer, and you know, I just thought for an action film, this is going to be probably excellent, and I would like to see it in the cinema. But it was packed with so many cool things. Because there was one with the car on the bridge when he hid behind this little thing. Whatever, that was just like, whoa, okay, this is going to be good. And then you had this moment when you had this car. I mean, not to mention the fighting scenes and blah, 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 but there was this this moment with the car when it was just even sliding down the slope or something in a forest and just went by his hand or something. And I thought, wow, okay, this is really good.
Yeah, and the fact that he was shooting as it went past, you know, he didn't just he continued.
Yeah, I mean, no, the trailer in itself was pretty good. Like the shit that was in it was quite amazing. And I just thought, okay, well, this is going to be a film that you will want to see in a cinema because this is obviously going to have the better effects on you, and then the experience itself. But I just thought that if they put majority of this stuff in the trailer, and again, I'm going to be bored watching the film because I've seen all the best bits and I'm not really surprised anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't like they do this shit. Sometimes I really don't like watching the trailer because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the trailer, Sacha, I enjoyed this trailer better than the first one. I've been watching the new iteration of Bond. That's sort of a tradition. I take my mum and we watch the Bond films because she's a big fan. That's the only time we go cinema together. And I just can't wait for.
That's the same with me. My mum's really into the Bond films as well. And I think I've watched every one with her in the cinema, like since I've been going to, you know, the cinema. Daniel Craig's not a favorite though.
Oh no, you see,
his mum is a fan of a Bond film.
Yeah.
My mother, and she mainly watches Midsummer Murders. So.
Essentially, I can't wait to be sitting in the cinema with a big bucket of popcorn and just, you know, on a big screen and go with it, go into that little Bond world. So far, you know, it's been enjoy one, don't enjoy the other, enjoy one, don't enjoy the other.
That's right. Yeah.
I enjoyed Casino Royale, not Quantum. I enjoyed Skyfall, not Spectre. So I'm hoping this one, the director's really creative.
That's right.
His what was that series he did, Maniac? I thought was really cool, kind of trippy and different.
Yeah, I've not seen any of the series he's done. He is mainly a TV director, but he's done 1 or 2 films beforehand, Jane Eyre and Sin Nombre. I'm butchering these names.
It was originally Danny Boyle on this one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what happened was with Danny Boyle, the reason why he left was John Hodge, his usual scriptwriter and collaborator that's worked with him on all of his pictures. They came up with an idea that they really loved, didn't really sit well with the Broccolis, and you know, it was creative differences between his writer and their guys. And you know, he backed his boy basically. You know what I mean? He backed his boy. He won't do a project without John Hodge basically. So because they've been together since Trainspotting, and yeah, he just did it out of loyalty, to be honest. So.
They brought in who's the actress and screenwriter from Fleabag? I forgot.
Oh yeah, the girl that was in the Solo movie.
Yes.
Bridge.
Yes, that's it. So
that's the one. Yeah,
they brought her in to do additional writing on this new Bond movie. So
interesting.
That's interesting because she's obviously very talented screenwriter. So,
she's very hot property at the moment in terms of her writing and everything. Yeah, and she's attached to quite a few projects. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she brings to Bond. Yeah.
So with her and the director, I'm very optimistic.
The director did Beasts of No Nation as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And he did he did 8 episodes of True Detective, the first season.
That's right. Fukunaga. I'm butchering his name. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And after I was disappointed with Tenet, I want to see a real Bond movie, a real good actual.
No spoilers.
I can understand. No spoilers. No spoilers.
Okay, moving on. Next trailer we had was The Boys in the Band. What did you guys make of it?
I thought it was going to be amazing. Well, we'll see. I haven't, I don't know, I haven't seen this guy in many things except for The Big Bang Theory. What's his name?
Jim Parson.
Yes. So I haven't seen him in many things except for the Big Bang Theory, and I actually like his character the most from this whole thing. And I don't watch it very often, but when I do, I think that he's pretty amazing. And I'm quite excited to see him in this film. And well, I like the trailer, so this is probably something that I would like to watch even more than the new Bond film. I don't know what happened to me.
You know what? I like the concept. I really like the concept of it about, you know, because like it's just a couple of guys, you know, dinner party or whatever, and then they're drinking and whatnot, and then it just looks like it's taken a sinister turn. And like I could see that concept there being a lot of drama, and as you know, like for actors as well, you know, you got a good script like that, you could do quite a lot in terms of a thriller and stuff.
Yeah, so, it was actually, it was originally a play.
Oh, okay.
And then what they did is this cast actually did a 30th anniversary revival of it.
Right.
Sorry, 50th anniversary. So they did so they brought it back as a play, and all the actors in the movie did the play on Broadway.
Right, okay.
And it won like 2019 Tony Award, Best Revival of a Play. And then what they did is then they turned that into
a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they all worked together on Broadway. So they all knew their parts, knew their roles. And so they just basically changed the setting, you know, just probably expanded the set, you know, rather than just and you filmed it. So they took what they did on Broadway and put it into a movie. So, you know, how often does that happen? You know, you normally have like a Broadway show, turn it into a movie, completely recast this, that, and the other. They did it on Broadway and then put it into a film. So.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it reminds me a little bit of, I don't know, maybe it's in terms of the, you know, the pictures, the colors of The Boat That Rocked. Do you know this one?
Yeah.
So it reminds me a little bit of this film, and I quite liked it. So if it's going to be a similar type of humor and everything, I think I'm going to like it. I can't wait.
It was they made a film about this in the 70s, right?
I don't know if it was a film before. I know it was a play before, but
no, I think in the it was directed by Friedkin. the director of Exorcist.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was sort of like, it was the first, well, I'm just reading this, first major American motion picture to revolve around gay characters.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
and
1970. Yeah.
And also thought to be the first mainstream American film to use the C word. There's a bit of trivia for you. But
oh, wow.
I mean, it's I'll be watching it. You know, it sounds like an interesting premise. It's a Netflix movie, so
this film, I want to see the original now.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's got like a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it stars Kenneth Nelson, Peter White, Leonard Frey, but yeah, so there we go. We learned something on the podcast.
My only thing, I'm
learning something all the time.
Yeah, well, I hadn't even heard about it since this podcast, so I checked it out quickly. But my only thing is Netflix movies. Like a lot of them, not all of them, some of them are absolutely great. Like Marriage Story was.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
You know, amazing. But a lot of them, especially the ones I've seen recently, there's just something, I don't know, something missing, like Project Power, Old Guard. For me, it's like good concepts, but they just don't quite nail it. I almost realized, yeah, this is not quite good enough for the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it's like it breaks out of that trap and actually you watch it and more falls into that Marriage Story category of, wow, that was a decent film. Like that Eddie Murphy Dolomite movie.
Dolomite, yeah.
That was
Dolomite is my name.
So good. And that was a Netflix movie. So hopefully, yeah.
I get what you mean there. It's like, it's not that straight to DVD movie, but it's better than that. But like you say, maybe not quite cinema.
Yeah.
I watched, I watched the one with, I've forgotten his name now. Thor, what's his name?
Oh,
Extraction.
Extraction. Yeah.
I liked that.
And yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good movie, but yeah, not one I would have rushed out to the cinema to see. I'm quite happy I watched it at home. Yeah, it's that same kind of thing, you know, it's just like, like you say, the quality wasn't, it's hard to describe, but I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So it felt like it could have been like a Nick Cage movie on a DVD, but it was better. It did feel a little bit better. You know, maybe that was the Russos producing, they wrote it, adapted it or whatever it was. But yeah, I kind of see what you mean a little bit with the Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. It comes out 30th of September. So always nice when a new movie drops on Netflix because it's just there.
It's just there.
Yeah, it's just there. It's like, oh, cool. I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Speaking of Netflix, quick pimp out to my favorite series finally reaching there, Cobra Kai. Who's watching that?
For the second time.
I will watch it for the second time. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, for the second time. Love it.
You know what's great about it, though? Because, like, obviously, like, I'm taking it everyone here that has seen it, saw it on YouTube or through illegal means. Yeah. So it's now all of a sudden just like breaking out with the brand new audience because of Netflix, you know, the power of Netflix and the accessibility, because most people seem to have it now or subscribe, except for Joe. But all week everyone's just been posting about Cobra Kai, and I'm like, yeah, you finally got there. Where were you 2 years ago?
It's because people wouldn't pay £15 a month for
YouTube.
Was it 15? Was it
yeah,
15
it's like £15
oh,
a
bloody
month.
hell.
I watched it because I used the free trial.
Yeah,
I rinsed it. So
yeah, I rinsed it.
Okay, so last trailer of the day. Okay, can someone pronounce that for me? Because I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
Was it Possessor or
Possessor? Yeah, there we go. We'll go with that. Yeah, Possessor. What did people think of Possessor?
I liked this.
I haven't seen it. What is it about? It sounds cool.
I couldn't quite tell you. It's like a
fantasy some
horror, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a sci-fi sort of horror where you have this woman who can who's just like sort of plugged into some machine Matrix kind of bullshit sort of stuff where she just gets into another person's body, and in this case it's a guy, and then she assassinates or tries to assassinate some dude. So
yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, is if because everybody knows who James Bond looks like, it's like I can't go out and do it myself anymore, so I'm going to do it almost through like an avatar in a sense.
Yeah.
Through another person. So that's the kind of vibe. Yeah. So that's like Karolina said, that's kind of vibe I got from it. Lots of blood in it. Lots is going to be quite violent, I think.
What's this, Netflix?
I think this is a Netflix one, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. Actually, it's
I'm
neon.
not too sure.
I haven't done my research. Just seen the trailer.
I'm not sure. The only thing I could get from that logos was there was like this W logo that looked like the Wayland Hut Army logo from Alien, and I first thought, hang on, is this a Ridley Scott thing? Is this a crossover? No, I'm joking.
He's written by Brandon Cronenberg,
who is the
son of
director
of David Cronenberg.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It does how twisted it is.
Yeah, it does have the David Cronenberg vibes all over it, though. I must admit.
It does, and even you describing it, like talking about the plot, reminds me of those sort of like, you know, like that movie Upgrade, which is a nod to
to
those type of 80s B-movie sci-fi. Yeah, listen, Cronenberg. Yeah, it sounds good.
There's kind of two trailers out. One gives you much more indication of the story, where other is just more of like frame against music. You don't really get the gist of it, but there's a second trailer where it's I think the uncut one, because actually I think it's been renamed, because I saw the one trailer was called Possessor, but then I saw another trailer was called Possessor Uncut. So I don't know if they renamed it or if they just put that into the trailer as in it's an uncut version of the trailer, but yeah, it looks interesting. Yeah, I'll give it that. But you know, it's not a Netflix film, but it's
yeah, I don't think it's Netflix.
No,
it
it's
might come out
Elevation Pictures Neon. So
bathed in blood and gore and unrelentingly aggressive. Oh yeah, give me that now.
Sean Bean's in it.
Oh well, he's dead. Sean Bean is dead. I'm calling it now. Actually, you know what? You know what? It's make or break with Sean Bean, because if he's alive, it's very rarely it's a good movie, Jupiter Ascending. But if he dies in the movie, it's guaranteed a classic.
No,
it's like Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, was make or break, because if he didn't die in that show, yeah.
Well, I was reading about on some receptions. It recalls many of his father's previous work. So I'm sold. I'll be checking the trailer straight after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. I just think that, you know, everything to do with I loved Altered Carbon on Netflix, the TV series.
Right. Yeah, I haven't
seen. To do with moving the soul from one body to another in sci-fi is quite an interesting concept, and you know, using technology for that purpose as well, because it's sort of like these post-human times that we're living in, when we have we have technology doing so much shit for us. So the fantasies that come out about this, you know, idea of being able to store your soul in something and send it to another person's body or another body is just amazing. It's just great to watch, I think. And if it's a horror film, additionally, then yeah, it might be quite scary.
Yeah.
Cool. Just in time.
Okay, so first bit of news. Bruce Campbell was talking recently in an interview about the next Evil Dead film, The Evil Dead Rises. So it's got The Evil Dead Rise, sorry. So it looks like the franchise is swapping the woods for the big city in the next outing. Thoughts?
May I go first on this one?
Movie.
Yeah, go for it. Before you do, he did mention that although he'll be in it, it is going to follow other characters as well. So there's going to be multiple kind of like people to follow in this movie. So yeah, go for it, Andrés.
Is Sam Raimi directing?
This is yet to be confirmed, but Sam Raimi is writing and producing along with Bruce Campbell. So Whether he's coming to the director's chair or not is still remains to be seen. Obviously, it's a franchise they both still wish to carry on because, you know, Ash versus the Evil Dead. That series was good, man. It was actually all right. And, you know, that's what he did with his Spider-Man money. He was like, fine, I'm going back to my roots and I'm having a ball with my boy, innit? And, like, it looks like they're trying to carry it on and with the new generation as well. I don't know, man. If it follows on from the TV show, I'm in. If it's, you know what I mean? It depends what they do with it, I guess. So, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, Evil Dead 2, one of the greatest films of all time, really influential. And I mean, obviously my excitement level will be determined by who's going to actually direct.
Yeah.
Even if it's not Sam Raimi, if it's someone that's doing it that I like their previous work or who I think will add something to the franchise, I'll be even more excited. But just the fact that they're making another one does excite me because Evil Dead was just, you know, I'm someone that loves, my favorite types of movies are movies that blend genres, like Ghostbusters, Shaun of the Dead, and Evil Dead 2 was that. You know, there was humor, 1 minute you're laughing, and there was really just brutal horror as well. So, yeah, I'm excited, but I need to get more information as it progresses.
Ken?
I've never seen an Evil Dead movie.
Get the fuck out of here.
Really?
You?
I'm gonna have to get the fuck out too because I haven't either.
You guys have never seen Evil Dead. You know what? I was watching Two Towers recently. Well, I wasn't watching the whole of it. I watched parts of it. My dad watches movies like all the time these days. And I walked in and he was watching the Two Towers. And it's really funny how like Saruman and the orcs and stuff, whenever it comes to that, they ripped off fucking Sam Raimi, man. Like Peter Jackson, like, does a bit of a nod to Evil Dead in those camera shots and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like that's straight out of Army of Darkness, bro.
Yeah. I mean, but Kenan, obviously, you know Sam Raimi's work on Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know that scene in Spider-Man 2 where
the Doc Ock scene.
Yeah, I know that's very much a homage because obviously I knew that he'd done that before, and you could see the chainsaw, the face in it, you know, the reflection and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you could tell that was straight out of those movies without even seeing them. But I don't know, obviously, how much it was a replica of what's come before. But I just guess I never got around to it.
Well, if you do watch Evil Dead 2, I mean, Sash, you might not agree. I would say,
how many of them are there?
There's three movies and a TV show.
Yeah.
So the 3 movies are the originals, obviously. The TV show came out recently, past couple of years. But the first movie is more or less like, it's an indie movie. It was before they were famous.
It's a student movie.
It's a student movie. It was before they were famous, quite literally. It was like how I make my short films and like, you know, with no budget with my friends and stuff. And that's how they made the movie. And, you know, obviously it did well in festivals and stuff. And then they got funding to remake it. And for the remake, they did number 2. So you don't necessarily have to see number 1 because number 1, if you want to go back to its roots, it's fine. But
so you got Evil Dead 1 and 2, Army of Darkness, and then Evil Dead was what, a remake?
Yeah, that was a remake. Kind of.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't. You see, it is, okay, the whole point was with that one was, it was marketed as a remake, but none of those characters were anything alike anyone in the Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And if you know about the universe and stuff, it's like, it has similarities with Evil Dead 1.
It was more of a spin-off, kind of.
It was, with different characters. Okay. With different characters, because there's no Ash character.
Yeah, there's no Ash.
Yeah, there's no Ash character. So the idea was at a time with Sam Raimi was to do that film, create an interest and a buzz for the franchise, and then when they carry it on with the new cast, they meet up with Ash, kind of thing. Yeah. That way, you know, they reinvigorate it. But then, you know, the TV series happened, and it was an opportunity to carry it on straight from the 3rd film and whatnot. So, yeah, it's like a passion project for those 2 guys. You know, it's something they've done since they were teenagers. But going into Evil Dead fresh, I would say watch 2 and 3 first, mainly because 2 is more or less a rehash of number 1, just on a bigger budget.
Yeah.
And it does retell number 1 literally in the first 10 minutes. Number one,
I'll give it a go.
Yeah, number 1, rewatching it now, it's very, very kind of dated and choppy, if you know what I mean. And it will probably take you a lot more to get into. But 2 and 3 set the tone for what the franchise is now. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say check 2, and then if you want to go research it more, check 1. So yeah.
All right, Karolina, we got some work to do.
Yeah.
Seems like we do. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, Netflix and Mark Wahlberg and Peter Berg are developing a sequel to Spencer Confidential, which came out earlier this year. I'm gonna say this: that was one of the first films I've seen this year on Netflix. Boy, I fucking love that film a lot more than I should have. If anyone knows me, my favorite kind of film, like ever, is probably stuff like Lethal Weapon, Long Kiss Goodnight. More recently, The Nice Guys. That's like my favorite film, like in the past, 10 years almost. Actually, if I think about it, it's probably in my top 5. But I love that kind of film, and Spencer Confidential was totally that kind of film, man. I dug the vibe. Mark Wahlberg doing his thing. You know, him and Peter Berg, they've got like a relationship. They've done the past couple of movies together. I'm up for a 2, and doing the research. It looks like it's based on a couple of novels that have been around for a while, so could be a franchise because it did really well for Netflix. Did you guys catch it? What are your thoughts?
I hadn't even heard of it.
What?
Exactly. And then I was looking it up, and it was like it's like one of their biggest, best received films ever with Netflix. It was like 85 million views in like the first month or something ridiculous. So I was like, okay, that's new to me. 85 million households in the first month. So I was like, all right, this seemed to do quite well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go away and watch this one. But from all the research I've been reading about it, everyone's like, we want a number 2, we want a number 2. So yeah, seems like people enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. But I also like the fact that this is, I'm not sure, but another film on Netflix, but I'm not sure whether this is by Netflix, but with Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington, 2 Guns, was really, really good. And I just thought that this is a little bit like the 2 Guns in...
Oh yeah, I could see the similarities.
There's a lot of similarities between them. And so I just thought, I liked it, but I just thought, oh, you're doing a little bit more of the same thing. And so them doing another one, I think, yeah, cool. I'm probably going to watch it and enjoy it just the same. But I don't like to be not surprised and bored. I like when things are sort of more, unexpected. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't find it to be, I don't know, some sort of amazing news. I don't know. Well, okay, fine. I'm going to watch it then, probably. And probably I will like it. But, I would like to see Mark Wahlberg doing something different now.
Mm-hmm. You're allowed to say, it's fucking shit. I fucking hated it.
Well,
you guys.
No, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. There was fuck all to hate. It was pretty... it was pretty entertaining, I think, and quite good. And I like this actor. You know what? Good
one on the 2 Guns similarity, because, I didn't think of the 2 Guns, but, now that you've mentioned it and I'm thinking about it, I can totally see the vibe. Yeah.
And 2 Guns is really fucking good. So
yeah, that was good. That was like 2013.
I asked myself all the way through. So when I'm seeing him doing yet again the same thing, that's not quite there, in my opinion. It's not as funny, I'd say. And then him making another one of those, I'm just thinking, okay, just fucking do something.
Were you thinking, where's Denzel?
Where's what?
Were you missing Denzel?
Oh, of course, yeah. Well,
everything's better with Denzel.
Of course, man.
But but not in the same type of film. I'd like to see something different. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a really picky.
Not really.
No, that's cool.
Sash, you usually agree on everything, but I have to say, Spencer Confidential was generic, bland shit. I love Nice Guys. I love all the films you reference. Yeah, Nice Guys is one of the greatest films in the last 10 years. All those buddy cop films. I haven't seen Two Guns, so that's put on my list now because you'll recommend it. I just didn't. It was just another one of those in that Netflix category. I watched it. I liked Duke Winston. It was okay. It wasn't shit. No, that's wrong. It was okay. It was just okay.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. So when they said they're doing a sequel, I did think, really? But I get it, man. If you're into those films, there's certain films. Like I watched Ip Man 4 the other day, and I love Kung Fu. And
dude, you're on my wavelength, man. That film was sick.
Well, again, you know, the acting was not great.
Of course.
That as good as like Ip Man 1. But I just loved it. You know, there's certain films, if that's your bag, you see past all of it. And
yeah, that's right.
Like, you know, me and my wife, we both love Kung Fu, so we just were entertained by Ip Man 4, but we knew we knew weaknesses. And yeah, I guess that's your thing, buddy cops,
comedies, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're making a sequel. I'll probably watch it, to be honest with you. You know, it'll be there on Netflix, and I'll sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was that great. That's my honest opinion on that particular one. And Mark Wahlberg does need to do something a little bit different now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He does, yeah.
He does. And I mean, but I do like Duke Winston.
He's got the capacity to do it. He's a good fucking actor, you know? He's got the shit together. I just think that, you know, just someone needs to stop thinking about the fucking money and just give him
what's your favorite? What are you guys? This goes for everyone. What's your favorite Mark Wahlberg film?
Oh,
I want to try his burgers.
What's my favorite?
You want to try his Wahlburgers?
Yeah, I want to try the Wahlburgers.
Hang on, there's one open up in London, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Covent Garden.
Guys, we should check that out when I'm allowed out.
I think two performances for me stand out. One is Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Yes.
And The Departed.
Yeah. I was going to say Departed.
Boogie Nights all the way for me. And Ted. I love Ted.
Yeah, I think most people got a spot for Ted.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I love Ted.
Ted was brilliant. Yeah.
Two
films, and then Two Guns is the next one that I love the most.
I am so watching that. I swear it's on Prime.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah. I mean, he's done what, like 2 Transformers films as well. He's actually doing the $6 billion man.
That's right. He is. Yeah.
So that'll be different. And then there was that tragic Planet of the Apes. That was awful.
Oh God, man, that was bad.
And he could play a very convincing science teacher in The Happening.
Well, he was an inventor in Transformers, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take away like his Marky Mark style, I mean, he was in Perfect Storm.
You know what? One of the most underrated films that nobody really knows about of his, which I really dig. Have any of you guys seen the film The Big Hit with Lou Diamond Phillips?
Mate, I probably have, but I can't remember it. Was it a 90s movie?
Yeah, it's a 90s movie. It's like one of his first movies. It's an action film, and it's got Cisco from Deep Space Nine as a mob boss. It's crazy, man.
Okay, well, that's another one on my list.
Oh, Pain and Gain.
Yes, I liked him in Pain and Gain.
Yeah, I liked him in Pain and Gain.
Love that.
You know who I like better? I like The Rock in Pain and Gain because
totally.
He was so different in that film, and he was so jokes.
What was the other Mark Wahlberg, the Peter Berg film about the marathon bombing? Patriot Day, was it?
Oh, Patriot Day.
Same director.
That was good. He's good with that director, actually.
Well, that's just it. I think that's why they want to do this series of films, because they get to hang out.
Yeah.
That's blatantly what it is. They're like, oh, okay, we're popular on Netflix. Oh, there's how many books? Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
Let's keep doing it.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we sat through 3 Ocean's 11 films because movie stars wanted to hang out with each other. So you know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
Yeah, but there's also The Fighter.
Oh yeah.
But then you just remember how good Christian Bale was.
Bale was, yeah.
You know, but that was a good movie.
That was a good movie, and he was good in it as well.
He was good.
Okay, moving on. John Boyega talks about his Star Wars frustration. So he was in an interview with GQ.
Yeah.
He was just talking about, he was like, fuck Disney, fuck Star Wars, this is the shit. And it's really shocking because I've said this, why I didn't like the past 2. I think I've talked way too much about this in recent months, man, about why I didn't like the recent films and stuff. And he more or less came out and hit it on the nail on why he didn't like the films, which is exactly why I didn't like the films. He wasn't given much of a role. He was just sidelined. You know what I mean? He was just sidelined, and he just went in deep in terms of like racism in the industry and stuff. And I was just like, wow. I was like, wow.
He exactly like you said. It's like Solo in the film. It's true, all of it. It's like they set him up to be a huge character in it. I mean, the original marketing had him, you know, in the first film, he's holding a lightsaber. You see him hold, you know, in the posters holding a lightsaber. You're thinking, my God, this guy's going to be a Jedi, you know, Black Jedi, you know, fantastic. Second movie comes along, shift him along, send him off to a casino on his weird side adventure.
Which had no impact, impact into the plot.
No impact at all. Then the third movie, very minimal. It's right, you know, I think and, you know, he says, part of his quote was like, don't blame JJ. He was never supposed to come back for the third one. And he knows it all got messed up in the second one, you know, and like JJ came in, he tried to do what he tried to do. We've said it many times, you know, yes, okay, Force Awakens has its little issues here and there. And yes, okay, it's very similar to A New Hope.
Generally, it was well loved.
I love that film.
Really well. It set them all up. I was really interested to see where they all went. And it's okay for them not to go where you think they're going to go, but what they did, some of those characters, and the other character played by Trent, just
Kelly Marie Chan's character, like, wow, they really, you know what, I felt, you know, even though like she took a lot of stick for The Last Jedi, what they did to her in Rise of Skywalker was even more disrespectful because they literally sidelined her to a bit part and just had her stand in the background. And it was just like, well, you introduce someone in the last movie and make her quite a big focal point of that movie, only to like have her as a glorified extra. That's really disrespectful, I felt. And John Boyega, I'm kind of glad he spoke up about it because if anything, he's taken on board so much flack for a lot of people that don't really know how movies are made and stuff, and like fanboys that like blaming him for whatever. And it's really interesting to see that, like, you know, the directors weren't in control of those films. Well, at least the last one anyway. And it's a mess, man. And
his character got no payoff. And in some episodes coming up on the new podcast, Creative Control, we reimagine episodes 8 and 9. And I have him, you know, have some big moments in those and be the character I wanted him to be. So, yeah, really, really disappointing. And I'm glad he spoke out about it. It'd be interesting to see if anybody else does. But, you know, you have to be careful about burning bridges with Disney as well.
Oh, that shows he doesn't give a shit.
No, exactly.
To come out like that's like saying, don't care. The most powerful film studio
good for him
in the world.
I mean, it's potentially ruined some chances of him getting into like the Marvel universe, but definitely to him, you know, he spoke out, and I just want to attack the block too.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it like this, okay? It depends on what you want as an actor. I mean, in his mind, he's made his millions, and now he can and he's got his own production company now, and it looks like he wants to get back to indies. And while he's hot and while he's a big star, he could be the forefront of those smaller budget films. And in that way, he's probably going to get a lot more respect. You know what I mean? By doing by forging the path he's doing. Because he's not an actor it looks to me, he's not an actor that just sits there and waits for a role to come. He's very much an action man, and he's got a big brain on him. I think he's going to go far. I'm glad he's spoken up, because it looks like he's taking his career in his own hands. He said himself multiple times that his love of acting is mainly in theater. So it just looks like he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't even care about being a movie star. He just wants to be an actor, and he's in a place where he can afford to be, he can afford to say these things, afford to take these risks. And good on John. That's what I say. Good on John.
I think the whole thing with the Black Lives Matter, when he spoke out.
It's out in London on the streets.
Yeah, I think that something changed inside of him. I think that, there was something even before that inside, and it just all came out. Because he actually said, I think on Twitter, he said, well, I guess no director's going to want to hire me after that. Yeah. And then a lot of directors tweeted at him saying, no, I want to hire you.
Yeah.
Now his next project is with Steve McQueen, where he plays like a British police officer in the 80s, I think. So that's
that's right. Is that the show that was originally going to be a TV show, but now I'm hearing it's multiple movies now.
It's going to be on TV, but it's sort of multiple Steve McQueen. I don't know if they're full length movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Multiple stories, and I just think John Boyega's now he's on another mental plane at the moment. He's not playing by the rules. And you know what really frustrating? He had such a potential arc. A stormtrooper who's decided to turn his back on, the dark side, to turn his back on that and go the other way. You've just established the foundations of one of the most interesting characters, as interesting as Rey and Kylo, as if not more. And then Ryan, who's an amazing director. Look, I love his work, but for someone who wanted to do something that, they called it social justice warrior for The Last Jedi and all that. That was your key. That was your thing. Make his story the most interesting instead of sticking him on a casino mission. That just, I don't know, man. It just let me down. But anyway, good on him. He's got balls. He's standing up to it's David and Goliath, really. He's just like standing up to the biggest thing in the industry.
Yeah, he's got a few projects coming up. He's got Naked Singularity, which is in post-production. That's with Bill Skarsgård, Olivia Cook. It's directed by Chase Palmer. Says when a successful New York public defender loses his first case, life begins to unravel. So crime drama, sounds interesting. He's working alongside Jamie Foxx. They clone Tyrone. So, Rebel Ridge. He's got that coming up with Don Johnson, James Cromwell. He's got plenty of work coming up, man. He's not going to be short of work.
You haven't said Attack the Block 2.
I want IMDb.
I want that.
I want that film, man. That's such
Apparently they've had talks with the director.
I hope so.
Yeah, apparently they've had some talks. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, I just think that it's a good thing he said this stuff, and I think I've watched also something or seen something on the internet where he said that he's just sick and tired of, everybody talks about the movie, about the part, about whatever, and he's talking about being black, in the movie, and it just shows to how deeply rooted racism is, and how you really have people reinforcing that all the time. And, some people are still not over this shit. And, even then, I think we have another subject on the list. His colleague from Star Wars, again, you have the same situation happening. And I really don't understand where is that shit coming from still, but I think it's good on him that he had the balls to actually say that. And and against one of the most powerful, corporations, the companies out there. And this is a great. This is I think this shows that he has the courage and a character and everything else that he needs to have as an actor. And the fact that he's not sitting there and waiting for another million to come from another super amazing film production or whatever from another script, but making those scripts, starting his own production company himself, that shows that the guy doesn't give a fuck. He's just, I have a lot of respect for him for what he's done. I have probably a lot more respect for him than even if he played in all the Star Wars fucking films and been the main character, to be honest with you, because I didn't even remember the last two. The first one I thought was probably the best of them all, and I don't know. I have a love and hate relationship with Star Wars, and to be honest,
everyone does.
The first ones, the really old ones with Harrison Ford, were my favorite ones, and then I kind of lost the interest in it, and then the next thing that came out from that kind of universe that really makes me happy, and I can watch that over and over again, is The Mandalorian, and that shit is hot, and the rest of it I'm not so sure about. So good on him that he told him.
John.
That's amazing. I have a lot of respect for the guy.
Just going back to that thing he's doing with Steve McQueen, it's Small Axe, which is the title of what he's appearing in, and it's basically coming out later this month. It's going to be on BBC One and Amazon Prime, so it's an anthology. So that's going to be it does sound interesting. It's an anthology, and he's in a film called Small Axe. So I'll be watching that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love you, John.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, looks like his co-star from The Last Jedi, Kelly Marie Chan, has been chosen as the lead for Disney's Raya, The Last Dragon. Now, there's not a lot out there about this movie, but I'm glad that she's...
It's going to be hot. It's got dragons in it. Everything that's got dragons in it, I love. Absolutely.
You know what? I have heard about this movie. I've heard about this movie, but only from other podcasts. But there was like a presentation, and a couple of other podcasters, like in the USA, they went to see it, and they couldn't shut up about this movie. They were saying that like the stuff they saw was really groundbreaking in the way of animation and what Disney are doing over there.
It's got dragon in it.
And it's got dragons in it. So, I'm intrigued by that kind of feedback. I want to see something more of it. I mean, there's some kind of storyboard trailer online going on that kind of gives you a feel of what the dragon looks like, what the main character looks like rather than the dragon. And interesting. I'm kind of glad that she's like got the lead as well, to be honest, because, I think she took a lot of flack, with the abuse she got over Star Wars, which wasn't her fault. I mean, she was just an actor hired for a job. Unfortunately, that role wasn't that great, but she didn't deserve to be thrown under the bus. And I think it's really encouraging that she did get a lead from Disney and they threw her a bone. And it is animated, so we'll see what happens.
Disney have actually been very sneaky about this. It was she's actually replacing the original person. So it was actually Cassie Steele who was voicing the main character.
Right.
She's a white Canadian actress.
Okay.
And now they've replaced her with her to make it more culturally appropriate.
Right. Okay.
And so, as much as it's, and apparently this is going to be the first time that a Southeast Asian actress has had a lead in an animated Disney film. So, Disney have obviously got a history of just casting white people to voice all their roles. And now this has come about. So it is a good thing. I think Disney have realized their mistake. And we've mentioned this before in a previous podcast where they seem to be looking at different cultures around the world and doing movies based on them, like Moana and stuff like that. They're moving around the world, trying to make the world a smaller place in a sense, and bringing all these different cultures to the screen for everyone to see. So it's good that they have actually recognized that they've probably miscast first time around, and they've got her in. Whether it's I'm sorry about Star Wars, yeah, here you go. Maybe it's the relationship that they had. You know, she might have had a really good relationship with Disney, and you know, they might, you know, just thought she'll be great for it. So yeah, we'll have to see what this is. But yeah, it's better by Disney, but it's also to protect themselves in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it. That, you know, knowing the shit that they did with John Boyega's character and with her character, they just sort of wanted to make sure that there isn't going to be too much backlash in the in media and on the internet, where the, you know, fans sort of look at it from the right kind of perspective. And I just think that that's what they did. But on the other hand, I don't mind. I mean, I do fucking mind, but I don't mind that it's actually her who is going to be voicing this character, and considering it's going to have dragons in it and all the rest of the shit that I love, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, they've actually put two new directors on it as well, so they've obviously had a big change around with what's going on over there.
Sounds good. Awkwafina's another voice, I think, in the movie.
Oh,
yeah, she is. Yeah, she's playing. Yeah, I'm not sure what the other character is, but yeah, but she's definitely in it as well.
Okay, this is another one. It always seems to be when I always seem to fuck up at least once lately. And what I thought was a movie turns out to be like a TV series, but we'll talk about it anyway. I figured we'd stage away into more dragons. Nicolas Cage is the voice of Drunk Dragon in the TV show High Fire.
Dragons again.
More dragons, and even better, a Nick Cage playing a drunk as a dragon. I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I need to see it now.
That's it.
So Sash, is this a series on a streaming service?
Yeah, it's Amazon
do you
Prime.
believe so? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be on Amazon Prime. It's based off a novel, Ewan Colfer, who did Artemis Fowl. So it's his novel called High Fire, and basically the story is set in a world where dragons once ruled the earth, and this Lord High Fire ruled the dragons. Now, basically, that's not happened now. You know, dragons aren't around, and he basically has this little swamp in Louisiana, and dragon goes by the name of Vern, and he spends his days like hiding amongst the alligators, watching TV, drinking vodka and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm guessing it's going to be animated, but it might be a blend. I don't know, but it sounds like crazy.
Sounds like my type of guy.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Sounds insane. Why do I feel he's miscast? Why is this not Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Oh, it is a live action show, so there you go.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be some serious CGI.
Unless he's in one of those like dinosaur suits from the Disney dinosaur show. But,
Nick Cage does not don dinosaur suits. But if he
I'm
did,
sure he's going to be method. You'll be rolling up to set like drunk.
yeah.
Well, listen, it sounds like a cool concept. I mean, the last couple of films I've seen Nick Cage in was Mandy and The Color of Outer Space.
Yeah.
Really.
Mandy was really out there. I haven't seen The Color of Outer Space, but the trailer looked just as trippy as Mandy. Mandy was next level trippy, man.
Yeah, really trippy. I can't say that I enjoy those films, but definitely find them interesting. They're just and when they're done, I'm like, did I just watch that? Like, was it? It actually, you feel like you are tripping when you're watching them. Yeah. So Nick Cage, he's just having fun. He's doing cool.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they're going to go adult with it, or they're going to twist it slightly so he's not so drunk. you know, maybe he does, but I mean, in the press release, they said he is like he's a drinker. So maybe it might be an anime, you know, maybe it might be CG, maybe it might be like a puppet even. I don't, you know, I don't know. It might be practical effects to keep the cost down, but it's going to be interesting, whatever.
Yeah. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it does. Can't wait.
Okay.
High fire. Gonna look out for that.
So Sylvester Stallone let slip about his director's cut of Rocky 4. It's coming. A director's cut of Rocky 4 is coming. I know we discussed this in the podcast, but he's getting rid of the robot. Paulie's robot helper in the movie is gone. Thoughts?
Okay. Rocky 4 is a director's cut, and the only difference is it's going to eliminate the robot.
No. There's going to be
loads more footage.
I don't care. I'm going to watch it anyway.
He's got unseen footage. He's going back and redoing it. Yeah, it's going to be longer apparently as well. So I'm because he's been releasing loads of like on-set photos and stuff like that from back in the day. So I think there's lots of stuff that he's discovered. He's like, yeah, actually, I'm going to go and do this. I think maybe taking the robot out is just to try and take away the time element of it, because that dates the movie in terms of you know,
just that dates the
well. But I mean, you got Gorbachev and stuff in the end, but you know,
but
maybe it might change the end, and it, you know, might put Putin in there now or something like that. I don't know, because he'll be running that country for the next 30 years. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with it, but. For me, more Rocky 4, I'm down.
Yeah, listen,
I don't care if it's just another montage. I don't care.
He's gonna add a couple more montages. Look.
Yeah, that is a franchise that's ready for a musical, man. It is ready for
well, you know what? That film is a musical.
It is a musical.
I don't care what anyone says. Rocky 4 is a musical because you've got what it opens with Eye of the Tiger, then you've got the boxing match between Apollo and what's his name?
Living in America.
Creed.
Yeah, you got Living in America playing.
Yeah.
Just before that. So yeah, that's 2 songs. And then you got the fight. And then after that, what have you got?
You got the scene where Apollo dies and Rocky's driving in his car.
Oh,
yes. Yeah, another montage. Another montage there. So yeah.
No Easy Way Out, I think it is, or something.
And then you got the montage of him training.
Hearts on Fire.
Hearts on Fire. And then obviously at some point you got to put the typical Rocky song in there. Fuck it, man! Like,
look, one of the greatest movie soundtracks ever.
You know what? If he doesn't recut it as a musical, I'm going to be very disappointed. But saying that on a more serious note, he's matured as a filmmaker in terms of the, you know, if you looked at Rocky Balboa and if you looked at Rambo, not the recent Rambo, but the one he directed. He has really matured as a director, and Rocky 4 is quite what's the word? It's definitely a product of its time. It's definitely the loudest of all the Rockies because it is Cheesemania.
Cheesemania.
Do you guys think that he's gonna probably Yeah, it is. But do you guys feel that he might dirty it up and bring it back down to earth in another cut of it and make it more gritty, like a Balboa, like the original Rocky, or do you think it's just going to be an extended edition, a standard extended edition? Because when he says the director's cut, you got to remember he directed the movie, and the movie's a product of its time. Do you think we're going to get a director's cut where it's a completely different version in tone and stuff and have it be on par of a Rocky Balboa?
It all depends on what, you know, extra footage he's got, you know, because he's not obviously reshooting anything. He's not going to go back and de-age himself and give himself another speech. He'll cut his ex-wife out of it. I don't know. But it's... I don't think there's going to be too much. I think they're just going to add more depth to characters where they can, which may give it a little bit more gravitas. So there'll probably be a little bit more with Drago maybe, and like his manager. There may be some more of him, and I think it'll just be splicing in those scenes, just trying to add to the because. Probably when they were doing the cut and the edit of the movie, it was to keep the fast pace of it. So, you know, you have the death, you have the match, and, you know, the training montage. And maybe this will just slow it down a little bit and it'll just add a little bit more to the characters. But I don't see it drastically changing. It's probably going to be more like a 10-15 minute, 10-minute add-on maybe. But it depends if he actually recuts it completely, like you say, to give it a different tone. But I can't see it because it is one of people's favorites from a, like you say, a bombastic kind of feel-good movie, as opposed to like where 1 and 2 was a little bit more aggressive and arty and stuff like that.
So do you think that this is the cheesiest, one of all the Rockies that you've seen?
Oh, most definitely.
Most definitely. To answer your
5 is worse.
Your, question, Sash, I think that in this case, I think that because he knows that it is the cheesiest one of all his films that he's made, and because because Rocky in general, I think, I don't know whether you know the story, how he wrote the script and how fucked he was basically, not having anywhere to live, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that he went to the people who are supposed to make this film, I don't know who he was talking to, but he was talking to some people about it, and they said that they will buy the script of it, but that he said, well, I want to play the main character, and they said no. And that they just want to buy the script, and he wouldn't fucking sell it to them, and until they said yes to him playing Rocky. And they said that he wasn't really good enough because of how he was speaking and, you know, all the rest of this shit. So I thought that for him to say, no, I'm not selling this script. He saw this fucking dog, okay?
He sold Butkus.
Butkus,
He bought it back for 15 grand or something. But
That's right.
he didn't get it back,
15 grand and the promise of a bit part. In
Man, that guy got a hell of a deal out of that dog, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows he's a good soul. Anyway, he just basically for me to that, you know, he treats it like his baby in a way, something that was his breakthrough, a sentimental story for sure. And for him to have a film amongst those many other films that he's made that could have been better and have this chance to do the director's cut, I suppose that maybe the first time he's made it, it wasn't the way he liked it. It wasn't the way he wanted it to be. So for him to now remake it and put those extra bits into this and maybe hopefully make it less cheesy than it was and show that it had a potential just like the rest of it.
I mean, you got to remember, the first movie was an Oscar winner. It won Best Picture.
That's
you know, and it beat out All President's Men,
like
Taxi Driver.
It's like having a chance to basically, you know, redeem himself in a way, you know. And I suppose that's maybe why he's doing it and how he's looking at it. So I don't think that, I just think that this director's cut is, like you said, probably going to have a little bit more in-depth stories about each of the characters. I'm not sure, but I think that this is what it might be.
But will he keep the line, if I can change and you can change, everybody can change?
Can I just add something to this, Sash? I don't know if you know about me, but Rocky's my greatest movie character like ever. You know, when someone says to me,
he's one of mine.
Okay, so
I recently watched it again, and I mean, I just absolutely love this.
Yeah, I love the character of Rocky, and I feel like he's a character that has got better over time. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Stallone in Creed, he won a Golden Globe for that, and he was really good. It was a really nuanced performance, in fact, probably because, you know, Ryan Coogler had something to do with it, but I think Sylvester Stallone also.
Yeah, I think Stallone wrote Creed 2.
He co-wrote it with someone.
Yeah, that's right. Are you talking about the first Creed?
Yeah, the first Creed.
Yeah, the first Creed.
When I watched the first Creed, it was like, wow, this is my greatest movie character, and he's actually improved from, you know. Yeah. And I studied the story that Karolina was talking about, because I wrote like a whole treatment for a film based on Sylvester Stallone doing this, you know, writing the script, being homeless, selling his dog, the whole battle with the studio and everything. I wrote this whole scene by scene treatment, and then someone said, "Look, write a script." But I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough. But it's there anyway. I did a lot of research, so to say Rocky's a big part of my life. So to hear about this Rocky IV, which, you know, it's the most 80s Rocky, it's the most popular Rocky, it's the most highest grossing Rocky. And it's a lot of people's favorites, even though, let's be honest, it's 4 montages, but it's such an entertaining movie. So I'm really interested to see what he adds to this. I'm just really interested because you know, it will be cool, whatever. So bring it on.
The power of Stallone for me when I was watching Creed was when he was like going through that cancer situation.
Yeah, I was like edge of my seat, man. I was like, yeah, same.
I was crying at the cinema because I felt like it wasn't just Rocky, it was Stallone on the screen and I'm watching it. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, his performance in that was just so powerful to me, and I was just like...
He did get a Golden Globe or nomination, or
He won a Golden Globe.
Yeah,
I think he got nominated for an Oscar as well.
He did. He did get nominated. He got the nomination. Yeah, I agree with you, Ken, man, because like I remember watching Creed for the first time, and I was just like, no, you can't kill Rocky. What are you doing? Because I was like, if you kill Sylvester Stallone, I won't hate the movie if it's done a certain way, but at the same time, you're going to have a grown man crying the fucking scream. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And you know what? With Creed 2 going into it, I was like, I swear to God, if he dies in this fucking film, because that's the thing with the Creed films, they have you like that. So at the end, when you come to Creed 2, when he goes home to his grandson and his son, I was like, you know what? That is the perfect passing of the torch.
Yeah.
You don't kill him off. He's said his story. He's told his chapter. It's done. And maybe if they do Creed 3, have him cameo. I'm fine with that, because the way I see it is they've told his story now.
Sash, do you remember?
Yeah, I don't think I could handle if they killed Rocky.
If they killed Rocky, it would be tough.
I'm crying now thinking about it.
Do you remember the scene in Creed 2 where Creed's won his match and all his entourage is in the ring, and Sylvester Stallone's sitting outside the ring, and the camera's it's the back of Sylvester outside of the ring while all the celebrations going on inside of the ring. For me, that was the perfect visualization. It was the perfect sort of, it said it all. He's done his job.
Yeah.
Passed it on, and it's, you know, he can now step back, and it was a perfect way of ending it.
You know what? That Oscar man robbed.
You know what? I know it wasn't in the show notes, but you know, segueing in, where would you guys like to go with Creed 3?
Wow.
I'll let Karolina go.
I don't want to start because I need to think about it. I really loved the first 2 films, and I was really waiting for them. And I have no idea. I don't even want to think about it, where I would go with it. I'd let the person who's, you know, well, to be honest with you, I'd like, obviously, because it's a fucking boxing film, I'd like a big fight, of course, with a big, gigantic super boxer, just like you've had in the in Rocky IV. And I'd like it to be entertaining, but at the same time, I want all these sad little dramatic bits that are in, you know, more interesting in many ways, and more kind of, there's more dimensions to it that you can admire, not only acting but everything else in terms of movie making. So in this case, in case of this movie, in case of Creed. So yeah, I don't know, I haven't got like a plan for what I'd want to be in there, but I'd sure as hell would like to have a big fight there, and you know, this whole thing of overcoming your limitations and blah blah blah. It's like a super fucking hero film, but it's just realistic. Do you know what I mean? You could actually have a boxer, and you actually do have a boxer overcoming that stuff. But you know what? Talking about that, have you heard about Holly Berry doing this fighting something, whatever? She's going to be boxing.
Yeah, that's right.
She's directing the film as well. So you're going to have now also a girl doing this shit. So it's going to be like a Rocky for girls.
Yeah, that's right. I do believe we did talk about it. I think it was either last podcast or podcast.
Yeah, she's an MMA fighter.
That was it. She's an MMA fighter. You know what? After seeing what she can do in John Wick, I was just like blown away, because I was like, why is she not doing action films or more like, you know, physical kind of roles? Because she can clearly handle herself. And, you know, seeing the training with her in John Wick and seeing the John Wick 3 film where she's kicking ass and shit, I'm like, fucking hell, man. She should have been an action heroine years ago, man. It even made me think, like, why didn't they do a Storm film? Because they were talking about doing a Storm spin-off film back in the day.
I think that Catwoman sort of lost her because for action films for a while, because it had such a bad thing.
Yeah, I could see that. I can't. You know what? I don't blame her for that, because that's solely on the studio there, because that was solely a studio movie. But at the same time, I could see why that role would be appealing for her to take as an actress, because one, it was a lead. Two, there has been one of the
really cool characters as well.
Yeah, exactly. And there has been a black Catwoman in the past. In fact, the 60s TV show, the first version of Catwoman was a black lady. And, you know, she was just following in the tradition of that. And, you know, obviously the script wasn't there and direction wasn't there. But, you know, you got to understand, she just hit big with X-Men. She was coming off Monsters Ball and stuff with her Oscar win. She was hot property at the time. And, you know, they offer her Catwoman, where she's a leading superhero. Of course, she's not going to turn that down. It's a chance to inspire.
I don't blame her, but it's just that the film had a really shit reception.
Yeah, that was a shame.
It was.
But
she wasn't a very pleasant person when I met her. Put me off her.
Really? Oh yeah, you did meet her, didn't you?
Where'd you meet her, Ken?
Catwoman premiere, right?
For Catwoman. So I was the premiere and events manager at like View Cinema Leicester Square. Yeah. So I did loads of premieres up there and stuff like that. So she was there. Sharon Stone was there, and
I love Sharon Stone.
Pratt, I think, or something. His name, I can't remember his name. But Sharon Stone was lovely, but Halle Berry was a miserable cow.
Wow.
Really? Oh wow. Okay.
Oh wow.
Might have been an off day.
But it could have been, you know, premieres is like Benjamin Bratt, that's it. So Sharon Stone and Benjamin Bratt were like really getting along, and they were really good banter and stuff like that. Halle Berry was kind of like the third wheel. She was kind of out by herself and just not really interested in having to put a face on for people and stuff like that. She really want to be there.
It's probably because the film was getting annihilated.
Yeah.
Or she saw it and realized, oh my.
Yeah, because
God.
she had at the time, look, this would have been huge, because then she had become one of the most popular black superheroes, and, you know, and a female one as well. And I think, you know, at the time, you've had, in terms of strong sort of characters in the cinema that were doing like this kind of action shit. I think, like, I'm not sure, maybe I'm talking probably years are not the same, but I think the only person I remember from that time is Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider. And you know, from those days, you know, and she has nailed this shit, you know. It has sort of changed a lot for this woman in cinema in general. And I just thought, I don't blame her. Maybe she was pissed off. I'm not saying that, you know, it's a good thing that she was behaving like a bitch towards the people she was working with or whatever. No, of course you need to just, it's work, yeah, but be just a decent human being. But I think she may have had a bad day. I mean,
definitely. I mean, it was a long time ago. That was like 2000.
My Catwoman was, and like from a perspective of somebody who is performing, you know, I'm singing, but I'd like to be an actress as well. And for me to be on stage and to do a performance and fuck it up or whatever is one thing, but if somebody else fucks it up for you, so people who are not, you know, standing in front of an audience, if say for instance you have a bad sound engineer or you have whatever what else screws the thing up, you kind of you can get really upset and depressed about it. So I don't want to like, you know, play the devil's advocate or something, but I just think, you know, for her it was quite early on in terms of making it huge, and I think that she could have had a bad day just simply because of how it was received, the movie, especially that it had a fucking potential to be a Black Panther of that time with a female in it. And for me, for her to be a female directing a film where she's also playing a fighter, and you know, and she's doing a little bit of a Rocky over there, it just sounds amazing. I can't wait to see it. I hope that it's going to be amazing, and I hope that she's going to win another award for that.
Yeah. She's following that up with a Roland Emmerich film with Patrick Wilson and Josh Gad, Moonfall. Space travels to the moon is struck by an asteroid. So,
of course it is.
Yeah. Roland Emmerich and asteroids and destruction. Of course. You know what? Why didn't he direct X-Men Apocalypse? I mean, like, that would have been the perfect movie for him.
He would have destroyed some cities. I'll tell you that.
He would have destroyed everything, man.
Some landmarks would have gone down.
Oh, God. All right, moving along. What have we got? Okay, so, all right. Wesley Snipes, he was just talking about Coming to America 2. And most importantly, I'm shocked this wasn't reported that he was even in Coming to America 2. How do you guys feel about the addition of Wesley Snipes being in the Eddie Murphy sequels?
May I go first?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so Coming to America 2, when they first announced that, I rolled my eyes.
Yeah, I could imagine.
But one thing that I did hold out is that Eddie, he kept saying no to it because the script weren't right. So I thought, okay, for him to finally say yes, it must mean something. Then when I found out it's the director of Dolomite, My Name is Dolomite, I thought, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Then after seeing Wesley in that film, Dolomite, you know,
brilliant.
The actor in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm so in, because after seeing Wesley in that role, I just thought, oh, you are funny.
Yeah.
You are really funny. So, yeah, I'm really excited now.
I'll tell you this. Eddie Murphy, we're on the verge of like a comeback here because Dolomite, not a lot of people saw Dolomite. You know, not enough people, I don't think, saw Dolomite. But what Netflix got out of that, they've got a couple of films coming his way. Beverly Hills Cop 4, that's gone straight to Netflix. They've worked out a deal with Paramount. Basically, they're footing the bill. Netflix are footing the bill. You know, so whatever they make on the streaming service, they make on the streaming service. Which means it opens. Now, the problem is with Beverly Hills Cop, and the reason why there hasn't been another one since Free is because if you look at Beverly Hills Cop 1, he ad-libbed that script. There was no script for that movie. Well, there was, but not for his character, because obviously it was written for Sylvester Stallone. And they cast Eddie Murphy because 48 Hours did so well, and they kept the script. He ad-libbed all of his lines, and everyone reacted off of him. And with Beverly Hills Cop 2, again, he ad-libbed that film. You know, when it came to Cop 3, it was an establishment kind of film. You know, the studio had a script. He was attached. He couldn't do his thing. You know what I mean? He was being paid a lot of money to not do his thing. And the end result was the end result. And he's always been like, I'm not going to do a Cop 4. I'm not going to do Cop 4. And along come Netflix, they sign a deal with all these pictures and stuff. And they want to do Cop 4, but they want to do Cop 4 the way Eddie wants to do Cop 4. You know? And then they throw in the comedy specials because he's coming back doing stand-up for the first time in years. And by a lot of those award ceremonies, if you haven't seen the award ceremonies where he more or less rips Bill Cosby from his recent, well, at the time it was alleged, now it's the truth. Eddie's still got the comedy chops, man. And Dolomite confirmed it. You know what I mean? He's been paid. He's made his money now. We're going to get some old school Eddie. I can't wait. And coming to America too, like you said, Andreas, like, you know what? I'm in. You know, I was
released in December.
Is it this? Is it?
It's released in December. Yeah.
Yes, Ken's right.
Is it a Netflix film or is it a theater?
I don't think they've got a distributor confirmed yet. So Netflix makes sense because of Dolomite.
Yeah.
But they're still working out. But it's most likely going to come on a streaming service. But yeah, it's not been confirmed how it's going to be released yet. Whether it's going to have a cinema release or not, I don't know. But yeah, it could only be a few months away.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay.
I love the fact they got everyone coming back though.
Oh, was everyone back?
Yeah, James Earl Jones, the dad,
Big Mick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming back.
I mean, I think that it's good that Wesley Snipes is gonna be in it, and I think that, well, I haven't heard much about Wesley Snipes since he's had those tax problems, whatever that was, right?
Yeah, he's
off the grid for a little while, and I think that one thing that America seems to like is this sort of story when someone hits the bottom and then comes back.
That's right.
To the top, and I hope that, you know, this is going to be that sort of a comeback. The last one that I've seen that I was pretty pleased with was with Mickey Rourke, so I hope I'm going to have the same one with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to this. Louis Anderson's back, Tracy Morgan's in it, Rick Ross, Leslie Jones. So yeah, I think this has got real potential. And what's great at the moment is I have no idea what the story's about. You know, so I mean, it might be out there, but you know, has he been in America? Has he got, you know, stayed away and he's coming back again? You know, and I think it's a different and updated world now. You know, so it'd be interesting to see what they go with.
I think it's something to do with his son.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that back when it first was being spoken about, like he had a one night stand with somebody or something like that, and then he's got an heir to the throne and he has to go and find him and build a relationship with the son or something like that.
Have you two seen Dolomite? Karolina, have you seen My Name is Dolomite?
I have.
No, I haven't.
Okay, watch it, like I will watch Two Guns, and check out Wesley Snipes in that film, because he's a treasure.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
so good in it.
Yeah.
Will do. Definitely.
Okay, so Empire Online has posted more pics from the upcoming Denis Villeneuve Dune picture. What did you guys think?
I should probably go because I haven't read the books. I've seen pictures. The idea seems amazing. So I probably will have to skip this one until I do read the books. And since I'm really fucking busy recording music, I don't know when this is going to happen. But I need to read, oh my God, I need to read so much shit before I watch the stuff that probably everybody is going to be discussing this and spoiling shit for me. And, you know, this is unbelievable. I actually quite like the fact that I'm now in the middle of the forest, because I'm going to cut all this out. Mm-hmm. Buy the books, read the books, watch the shows, and this way nobody's going to spoil anything for me. I think this is what I should do.
Cool.
I've read the books, and I don't believe I saw the original film either.
No, I haven't either, no.
So I'm going to go in this fresh eyes. It's got a phenomenal cast. Timothy Chalamet, I think, is fantastic. He's got Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Batista, Stellan Skarsgård,
I've got a crush on Jason.
Josh Brolin, David Dasmalkian. It's a phenomenal cast.
Yeah, that's right.
So Rebecca Ferguson as well. So I'm just like, I'm probably going to avoid the trailers for this one, because I haven't seen the original movies. I haven't read the book. I'd actually rather not know much going in, and I'll just go in blind on this one, I think.
See, I've read the first book. Really good book. I didn't really read the other ones. I don't know why. I was a kid. And what was it? I was really disappointed with the original film. I know some people say it's a classic and stuff, but because I read the book first and then I watched that film, and that film's quite dated as well. Mm-hmm. And I don't usually judge stuff by that usually, but I think I was more pissed that it was, you know, that I didn't find it nearly as good as the book, if that makes sense. There was a TV series of it, which was a little bit better, I felt. But, you know, that was cut short. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the film because I'm a big Denis Villeneuve fan. His weakest film to date, I think, is the recent Blade Runner. I thought it was good aesthetically, and I thought it was a well-made film.
Wow. Okay.
I just personally felt, because I know Ken's not a Blade Runner fan.
Didn't like Blade Runner.
But Blade Runner is one of my favorite films, and I just did not think it was a patch on the Ridley Scott original. But I did think it was a very good effort, and I don't hold that against the director because it was always going to get made. And aside from that one film, Prisoners, Sicario, his whole list of films.
Arrival.
He's just done nothing but gold, man. And if Blade Runner's the weakest film, and if I didn't, and bear in mind, I didn't say it was shit. I just didn't think it was as good as the original Blade Runner. You know, I just didn't think it lived up to the name, but it was watchable. But that being said, you know, I do think he did a fantastic job with what he was given, and I can't wait for Dune. I really want to see his Dune, and I really want to see whether it becomes the next big thing or not. And like you said, Ken, it has a phenomenal cast. The original also had a phenomenal cast, but I can't.
Yeah, for the time it did, yeah.
Yeah, for the time it did. But even though I didn't like that film, Sting really stuck out for me, and Patrick Stewart from that original film. So it'll be interesting to see who plays their parts and how different that would have been done in that interpretation, and more importantly, how close it is to the original novel. Yeah. I know Villeneuve he's looking on a bigger scale. He's thinking franchise. So
yeah, well, he is, because I mean, I'm going to give Blade Runner another shot. I need to watch it again, I think. But as well as doing Dune, he's actually directing the pilot for Dune: The Sisterhood, a new TV series.
Oh, okay.
He's already expanding the universe.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to tie in with the movie, any same characters, or just going to be something. But I think he'll probably direct the pilot, and then he'll be like an executive producer on the TV series going forward.
Right. Okay.
And he's also down to direct the remake of Cleopatra. So a lot on his plate. But he's a fantastic director.
Who the hell is going to play this Cleopatra finally? Because is it?
Let me see if anything's been announced. I don't think anything's been announced yet.
So I think that project.
Dwayne Johnson.
I'm going to definitely watch this one then.
Yeah, no casting's been announced yet, but
the best Cleopatra ever.
Thoughts, Andrés?
Yeah, thoughts are Denis Villeneuve, if I pronounce it right.
Denis,
Listen, I loved Blade Runner 2049.
Fair play.
It was. I've watched the original and I really appreciated it. I'm not like a super fan of it. I know it's got a really strong following. And I respect that. But I watched it a few years ago with my son. I said, "Look, this is a classic. Let's watch it." I watched it when I was young. I can't remember nothing, and we really appreciated it. Like, as in, everything holds up. Nothing looked outdated. We watched one of the cuts. I think it was the director's cut. Just really appreciated it, but it didn't like blow me away or anything. But the sequel, honestly, it was one of my favorite cinema experiences. I think we went to an Everyman cinema, and they're really nice cinemas.
Yeah.
And just the screen, the sound, and I was just transported into that world. And he is such a good director. I mean,
yes, correct.
You know, he's a titan like Nolan is, and it's going to be really interesting to see them both have a movie in the same year, to see who's going to be the sort of who makes the film that I like the most this year. I'm really excited. I'm just worried because, I mean, I'm not worried. I'm going to see the film and enjoy it. It doesn't make a difference to me, but they lost a lot of money with Blade Runner.
Yeah.
You know, they lost a lot. The critical reception was amazing.
Yeah, won an Oscar for like effects or something, or sound.
Cinematography.
And just, you know, critics really loved it. And a lot of Blade Runner fans really loved it as well. But they lost a lot of money. And I think Warner Brothers, they've got some balls, because it's not like Dune is some massive IP in terms of like the wider conscious, you know, it's not like your average person. If I went up to my wife and said, oh, they're making Dune, she'd be like, what's Dune? So they're taking a massive gamble with it. And it could be another major loss. But if they're more interested in making prestige films by prestige directors, then so be it. Like I said, it's no skin off my nose.
Yeah.
For them though, it's kind of like this. I think if it is a big dud, he'll probably do a studio film for them, or something lower budgeted that's more in their wheelhouse of making for a couple of years, do a couple of studio films for them, and then, you know what I mean, go up the ranks again.
Right, yeah.
That's usually how it works with these things. When you take a hit, sometimes you've got to scratch their back and do like a project for them.
I hope it's not. I hope it's massive.
Yeah.
I don't doubt the quality. He's just one of those filmmakers that, you know, whether it's not as good as this or that, even you say, you know, Blade Runner you just don't think it's as good as the original, but
I still appreciate it. I still liked what I saw and stuff. I just didn't think it was as good. More to the point, I didn't think they should have made it in the first place. I was coming from that standpoint. And the only thing that I didn't really like about it was they answered the question. And that's one of the things I loved about the original one, where even though it's blatantly obvious that he is a replicant, it was one of those questions where it's like, don't answer the question. And they kind of were like, no, he is. You know what I mean? Because what I loved about it was Harrison Ford was so, no, he isn't. You know what I mean? For years, for decades, he was like, no, he's a human. No, he isn't. And then Ridley Scott was always like, yes, he is. You know what I mean? And, you know, it was like one of those dubious things where you debate on a little bit for years. And on this podcast, there's an episode where I find out that they more or less say he is, and you get my raw reaction from that, and I literally flip out. And Joe was very much like, oh, well, what's the problem, man? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck you, Joe. Like literally, I went, like, Ken knows what I'm like when I don't process shit. I usually just flip out like a fucking nerd, man. And it's just kind of like, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Just, this is bullshit. So it's like, if you want to hear back a decent like freak out. But then when I saw the movie, I did enjoy it. But when I think about it, you know, it's a sense of attachment and stuff, because it is one of my favorite movies. I get that. It might be even that, but I'm glad you know, it's brought a new audience in, because, you know, it's like one of those films, like people, you know, like how you have people react to stuff online and they post themselves watching shit. I watch some of that shit sometimes, and you know what I like about Blade Runner 2049 is that it's kind of brought those films, or that original film, to a brand new audience to appreciate it. Yeah. And you know, even though sometimes I hate some of these sequels and shit, like fucking new Star Wars and shit, but what I will say is it brings those original films out to a new audience every time, for a new generation to appreciate them and love them the way I do. So, you know, you've got to see good and bad sometimes. And, you know, even though you get fanboys like me freak out from now and again, sometimes you got to take a step back after you've had your little tantrum. Yeah, after you've had your tantrum, and just go, you know what, at least the originals are still getting some love, you know. So well, yeah, we should be getting the Dune trailer, I think, on the 7th of September. So, man, next few days away. Yeah, next podcast we're talking all about that. Yeah. Unless Ken doesn't want to see it, because he just said he doesn't want to see it. If it's a tease, I'll probably watch the first teaser. It's the second trailer that normally gives it all away. Yeah. I'll probably watch the first teaser, but that'll be about it. Okay, so not on the itinerary, but, you know, breaking news while, just before the podcast started. The Batman's filming has halted and Robert Pattinson has been confirmed to have caught COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. More delays on the Batman.
Well, it all started with a bat, right? So.
Wow, how ironic.
Oh, wow.
Parker. I mean, no, it really is. It's with a bat and
he's going to have to isolate for 2 weeks and then that'll be it.
We shouldn't be laughing about it, but anyway.
Yeah, they'll basically test everyone, and then they'll decide whether they can do some more shooting in the next couple of weeks. Worst case scenario, they'll tell everyone to go home, self-isolate for 2 weeks, and get back to it. So yeah, it won't hold it for long, unless he's actually ill from it. But if he's just tested for it, then it'll just be an isolation period, and it won't hold it up too long.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, obviously, the important thing is the man recovers and
he's healthy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But the fact that they dropped that awesome trailer, which gave me the chills. Like my son is one fussy guy. He's a wannabe director, and he has watched that trailer about 6 million times, and it's always on in my house. So we were really excited that they resumed production, and now they're shutting down again. But can't they can still film?
They can still film.
They'll test cast and crew, and if there's enough that they can do probably other shooting and other scenes, then they will. It will all depend, because everyone's going to have to be tested now. Anyone who's worked with him in the last week, they'll have to be tested or isolate. So it all depends on what they've been doing in the last week and how many people
with everybody else that he worked with. So basically, the entire production is going to shut down.
Yeah.
The thing is, do they test them on film sets now? Do they test them like every day?
I'm not too sure, but I could find out by tomorrow. One of my friends works on a lot of sets. He does that for a living now, and he's done during this time. He's worked on multiple commercials, and he's worked on a couple of TV episodes and stuff. And he's saying it's quite regimented, and they're taking all the precautions that they can.
It would be. I'm sure it is, because I'm sure to protect the actors on these big productions, you would have thought that they'd be testing everybody to ensure that the main cast isn't affected. So I'd imagine that, but whether the actual main cast is tested every day, who knows? I mean, Dwayne Johnson, all his whole family's all been tested positive for it.
Yeah.
His wife, kids, everybody. So it's still out there, and we just hope that they all stay safe and healthy. So I've got one more bit of breaking news.
Oh, okay.
It's gone up in the last hour because we've been talking about director cuts. Francis Ford Coppola is releasing a new edit of The Godfather Part 3.
Ooh.
So he's been working on a brand new restoration, and that edit includes new scenes, and we were released under a new title, Mario Puzo's The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone.
Nice short title.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's his preferred title and our original intentions for what became Godfather Part 3, Coppola says. For this version of the finale, I created a new beginning and ending and rearranged some scenes, shots, and music cues. With these changes and the restored footage and sound, to me, it is a more appropriate conclusion to The Godfather and Godfather Part 2, and I'm thankful Jim Giannopoulos and Paramount for allowing me to revisit it. So we're getting a new version of Godfather Part 3.
Okay, well.
Might have to dust off my old DVDs to check that out, because I've actually not watched The Godfather in about 20 years.
It's been a long time for me too.
Yeah, me too.
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that long for me. It's been like maybe 5, but yeah, I can't wait. I quite like the Godfather.
Yeah. Thing is, you know what? It's really funny. But whenever we talk about like great gangster films and stuff, you're either a Godfather person or a Goodfellas person, and I've always been a Goodfellas person.
I'm a Goodfellas person.
I'll tell you why. Because I love The Godfather. It's a fantastic film. It's a fucking classic.
Me too.
It's like a. But this is the thing. This is the difference. One's like classical music and the others like rock and roll.
Rock and roll, yeah.
And with The Godfather, I've got to take my time out of my day.
Yeah,
I've got to watch it from the beginning.
You got to be in the mindset.
To the end. I've got to be in the mindset, and you know, because I want to be transported into that world, kind of thing. You know, and there's no interruptions when I do watch it. I've got to see it from start to finish. I can't watch that film coming in halfway through or whatnot. You know what I mean? I've got to see it from start to finish. But every time Goodfellas is on TV,
no matter what scene,
which scene it's in, I'm in
You're
for
in.
the rest of the
Yeah,
movie.
you're in.
For the
Yeah.
rest of the movie. And that's the difference between the two for me. One's rock and roll, the other's classical music.
Classical music.
You know? And it's not that one's bad or they're just very different because they're filmed differently. You know what I mean? Like Goodfellas has such an energy to it. And Martin Scorsese, I think was it the only other film that had two films that has that much energy in his filmography is Casino and The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street, I can watch that any moment. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, but
you've hit the nail on the head. I've never been able to verbalize it, but it's so true. I've been trying to rewatch The Godfather for probably 10 years now because I haven't seen it for 20 years. Because I know it's an amazing film. I remember even... But it's true. It's like, it is like classical music. I've never found that right. So have I got that time? Have I got that 3 hours where I won't be interrupted? Can I get... Whereas Goodfellas, it might be on whatever scene, and it's like rock and roll. You're just in. You're just in.
Yeah, you're just plugged in. You're just like, I'm seeing the rest of this movie now. I ain't changing the channel because you know whatever movie is on or whatever else is on, it ain't going to match Goodfellas at that point in time, you know? Yeah.
But I do need to see both the Godfathers.
Yeah, same. Definitely. All right, that looks like it's a wrap.
Watch them then.
Yes. I've got a list now. I've got Two Guns.
You got Steve Rogers' list.
I've got what was that Blue Diamond Phillips one? The Big Hit.
Oh, the Big Hit.
I got those two. I need to see. I've got a Steve Rogers list. Yeah.
What was I going to say? No, it's gone. It's gone. On that note, we're out. I guess that's the end of the podcast. Ken, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Kenan Talks Film. That's Kenan, not Kenan. Kenan. Thank you.
You can find me on Sacha Allari on Twitter. Andrés? You don't have to, but...
just Andrés_Muddy Loop on Instagram. All you're going to see is me eating food and talking about movies. So,
you want to pimp out any of your tracks or anything? Or?
Yeah, well, Muddy Loop is the name of the band. So I've also, we're on Twitter as well, the band, just Muddy Loop, MUDDYLOOP. So yeah, you could check out our music there. We've got stuff coming out very soon as well.
Karolina?
Well, you can't really find me anywhere except for this shithole in the middle of the forest. Because I'm still working on my social media and my websites and all the rest of it, but it's going to be under Korakin so that it's a little bit easy to pronounce than Hojnatska, because I can imagine that nobody can pronounce that fucking surname. Anyway, so yes, I'll let you know next time you invite me, and if not, then then we'll talk about it later.
You'll be back. You'll be back. Everyone will be.
Okay.
Once you're in the gang, you know, I rotate guests as frequently as I can. So if you're not on next
as long
week,
as you're not going to be taking a piss out of Liam Neeson again.
Thank you for having me, Sacha. It was a pleasure.
Anytime, man. Anytime. All right, guys. We're out.
Everyone. Good night. Bye.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Go on. Do it. Come on.
I am the man that killed Jamie Lannister.